show you guys how I just pull motors and stuff for LS swaps and everything like that, or any of my swaps, and how you can make some money doing it too. So this truck is a 2002 GMC 2500 HD. So it's got the 6-liter 4L80E, 3/4 ton drivetrain and all that. So basically, this thing's got no title. The guy couldn't get the title, I don't know. And he said there's a transmission issue with it or something like that. So I picked this car up, or this truck up for 500 bucks. And so basically what I'll do, I'll just tear it down. I got someone who's interested in buying a truck whole. He just wanted the frame, but I told him I'll just pull what I want out of it, and I'll sell him the rest. So that'll work out pretty good, because then, you know, I got parts all over the place from these part outs, and it honestly becomes a headache. It's more of a problem than anything else. Like, yeah, you'll make some money doing it, but it's probably not worth the time sometimes. You sell the big stuff, like you sell the motor, transfer case, you know, whatever, depending on what you need or what you're going to use. Sometimes doors and stuff, the rear ends, you know, those are good. Wheels and tires, if they're any good. Body panels, but you know, they're hard to sell too, so it just takes a lot of time to move those parts, and then you just got them all over your property or your house or whatever, and your wife is giving you a hard time, and it's never good. So you're almost better off just getting rid of it whole if you can. But yeah, let's jump into it. We'll start pulling the motor, transfer case. I'd like to get it all out in one. That way I could just throw it on a pallet. I could move it around easily with a skid steer or a tractor or something. And that's it. And then this thing's going on its way. So I'll probably take the hydro boost out of this too, because I could use it in a project for sure. And the rest will just be going. So let's hop in it and start ripping this thing down. All right, so here's the donor truck. It's pretty ratty. Frame and everything's good. It's got brand new tires on it. Body's pretty straight. The bed's all dented from me when I chained it down. It's got a plow hookup, mount, and all that. And I guess someone wrote that it's a piece of shit. P-I-C-E. Yeah. Okay. But it's got a 6-liter in it. Truck's got 330 something thousand. Supposedly the motor's only got 150,000 on it. I couldn't say for sure. Transmission shifts, but it supposedly doesn't shift in overdrive real well. But let's get this thing jumped, get it pulled in the building, and we'll start ripping it down. And that way, I hate these battery terminals for trying to jump stuff. This is garbage. And that way, I'll just hook it down there. It's probably easiest. See how that goes. That should jump. And there's no battery charge at all, so it says batteries are only a year old, so that's a plus. Lights are on now. It's weird that they're stuck on. I think a cat's probably been living in here recently. My neighbor's cat. But yeah, so I'm just gonna pull wheels and tires off of this thing. Someone wants to buy it for $1,000, so I'll pull what I need out of it. I'll sell them the rest, and that'll do it. Let's get this thing started. There we go. Ignition's a little funky. Dude, this battery pack is crazy. That thing lit right off. do with this drivetrain. I'll probably end up keeping the transmission and everything. I might just have the transmission rebuilt, or just gone through, because it's probably got 300 and whatever thousand miles on it, I guess. So I'd like to get this transmission pulled, or the motor transfer case pulled, and I got a an old K5 Jimmy that it's got a tired old 350 in it, and I think it would be badass to have a it's kind of tight up here. I got all this shit everywhere. Yeah, and I think it would be pretty badass to get it in that truck. So that's the plan. I got shit everywhere. Alright, got her on the lift, got jack stands under it. Obviously you don't need a lift to do any of this stuff, but it sure does help. And honestly, my back, this has helped my back so much by doing that, putting it up on lift, so I don't have to like crawl around and jump in and out of here a bunch. So you can see these trucks, they tend to rot. I don't know if someone rigged up the exhaust on this thing. This craziness here. Let me get a flashlight. So yeah, these trucks, they tend to rot. I mean, this frame looks good on it. I had another one of these, a 2001, and man, that thing, it had holes all up in here. I mean, it was fine, but damn, look at this thing. Drive shaft's garbage, basically. Wonder what the heck happened there. There was something rubbing it. Oh, you know, I bet the exhaust was hanging over or something, and it was rubbing it real bad. That thing's trashed, basically. You could see it was rubbing something here too. And then this score. So the drive shaft's probably about garbage, so it's almost not even worth keeping it. I was gonna keep it. We're gonna leave the rear in it for him, but just so he can roll it and stuff. But I've sold those rears for like $400 before, so there's some money you can make out of this stuff. But what we'll do, we'll unbolt the transfer case. So that's these couple bolts up in here. We could probably just drop this whole cross member out. We will unbolt I might be able to get to the motor mounts easiest here. Just completely unbolt them. And what else do we have? That's it really down here. I'm gonna cut the exhaust off. I'll see if I can unbolt it, but I'll probably just cut it. It's just easier. This has cats on it still, and they don't sound hollowed out, so I mean that's like probably $300 there at least. Cat prices were up. Those things were selling for like $250 a piece at one point, but they're probably not anymore the way everything is. Let's see what else we got. Got the diff, which we don't need or want to deal with. It actually doesn't look too terrible to get it out, but I don't feel like it. And we'll take that front drive shaft in case we need it. So that's it. Basically, we'll unhook all that stuff. Then we got to work on unhooking all the plugs, wires. I mean, just the wires and plugs on the whole motor. And disconnect all this stuff up front. And that's it, really. So it'll be a big mess, but should be able to get it done in like 3 hours or 4 hours, something like that. So let's get to it. I'm gonna push all that water out of there. It's flooding. So I'll disconnect everything we can from underneath that we have to make it easier, and I'll cut the exhaust off real quick, and that's it really. Then we're good to go. We can lower the truck down and we can start pulling stuff from the top. So that's it. You pretty much just disconnect everything you can from the underside, and then I'll cut this exhaust off real quick. And that's it really. Just disconnect everything you can while you're under here at the same time, and then you can go ahead and lower it. I'll lower the truck. I'll just start pulling stuff, start disconnecting all the hoses and everything up top, and probably have to drain the radiator, or just clamp it shut so you don't lose too much coolant and stuff all over the floor. And that's it really. And we're cooking with gas. It's kind of an awkward angle for you guys, but now I'll just disconnect the front drive shaft. So yeah, these trucks, they tend to rot. I mean, this frame looks good on it. I had another one of these, a 2001, and man, that thing, it had holes all up in here. I mean, it was fine, but damn, look at this thing. Drive shaft's garbage, basically. Wonder what the heck happened there. There was something rubbing it. Oh, you know, I bet the exhaust was hanging over or something, and it was rubbing it real bad. That thing's trashed, basically. You can see it was rubbing something here too. And then this score. So the drive shaft's probably about garbage. So it's almost not even worth keeping it. I was gonna keep it. We're gonna leave the rear in it for him, but just so he can roll it and stuff. But I've sold those rears for like $400 before, so there's some money you can make out of this stuff. But what we'll do, we'll unbolt the transfer case. So that's these couple bolts up in here. We could probably just drop this whole cross member out. We will unbolt I might be able to get to the motor mounts easiest here. Just completely unbolt them. And what else do we have? That's it really down here. I'm gonna cut the exhaust off. I'll see if I can unbolt it, but I'll probably just cut it. It's just easier. This has cats on it still, and they don't sound hollowed out. So I mean, that's like probably $300 there at least. Cat prices were up. Those things were selling for like $250 a piece at one point. But they're probably not anymore the way everything is. Let's see what else we got. Got the diff, which we don't need or want to deal with. It actually doesn't look too terrible to get it out, but I don't feel like it. And we'll take that front drive shaft in case we need it. So that's it. Basically, we'll unhook all that stuff. Then we got to work on unhooking all the plugs, wires. I mean, just the wires and plugs on the whole motor, and disconnect all this stuff up front. And that's it really. So it'll be a big mess, but should be able to get it done in like 3 hours or 4 hours, something like that. So let's get to it. I'm gonna push all that water out of there. It's flooding. Alright, we got cross member out, exhaust out, unhooked what we needed to, I believe. There might be another thing or two. Make sure you unhook the brake lines from the transmission, because that'll hem you up. I think that's it from down here that I can think of right now. Like I said, I'll probably end up having to come down here again, which is usually the way it goes. But this thing is leaking oil like a sieve. But But that's it. Yeah, we'll get it. Get the truck dropped down, and that way we can start yanking on some stuff and see if we can get this thing pulled out. Got to unhook a few things up in the engine bay, but that's not the biggest deal. It's easy stuff. And oh, you know what? I'm gonna unbolt the the cab mounts on this thing too, because it's nice sometimes if it gets stuck, I can just lift the cab with the lift and not have to worry about angling stuff too much. And with pulling it all out as one, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass sometimes, but it helps when you can lift the whole cab up. So we'll probably do that. Alright, she's down. Let's start pulling this stuff out. Pretty simple. I'll unhook the battery, unhook all the cables, clamp off these hoses, make sure all the power steering hoses, all those fluids and everything, I'll try to get them all drained out, and then basically this thing's ready to yank. Unbolt the fuse box, which I won't need anything out of there, I don't think, but just in case, I'll just take it. And it's nice to have extra fuses and stuff. And that's it, really. So let's get to it. We'll start ripping this thing down now, and it should be pretty simple.
Be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before the new. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame.
I tried to do a timer.
I wish
it worked or not. And it wasn't really much that you can see. But basically, got everything out of the radiator's free, so from the motor's free basically. I unbolted as many of these engine bolts as I could, so now pull the intake, so I just pulled everything, all injector wires, everything that would be in the way. So I'll pull the intake, and then that way I can have a plate I put on there, and then I can hook the cherry picker to it. I actually probably have to pull that. Probably have to pull it because it's on that motor over there. So I'll have to pull that off real quick. Let's go over here and we'll go grab the bracket for that. I gotta throw the old one up here too while I'm at it, because this one, I just don't want that motor to get full of dirt and all that kind of stuff. Alright, let's get this thing. Oh, good. Alright, that's good. Damn, that could have been a bad thing, especially if I wasn't paying attention and knocked it in there and didn't see it go in. I'm missing one, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but I saw it fall in here too. I'm gonna find this one real quick, and then we'll be good to go. I'll pop this intake back on. unhook the fuel lines, injector wires, and then just unbolt the intake. The fuel lines, there's like a little fitting, a little tool you slide in, and it releases it. You can use screwdrivers, but it's just easier to get the tool. They're cheap, and you use them a bunch if you end up pulling motors like this all the time. Kind of awkward. Oh, got a little rope hose down there. Let's see. There's something down the back. I think that pulls, that might be vacuum for the brakes, I don't know what that is. Okay, intake's off. Now you can look in here, see what a mess it is, but alright, so you got the intake pulled off. You can see in here it's a big mess. I might try to vacuum that out real quick. Then we'll pull the cover, valley cover off, and throw this in there and just hook up to it and start trying to hoist it out. I got most of the bolts undone. I got to do one more bolt for the engine mount on the driver's side, and it should be good to go. Alright, I got her in there. Got my little leveling thing on there, and that's it. Let's slam this sucker in there, hook it up, and we can see what happens. It would be helpful if I had the jack thing for this. Alright, I got my bar. Oh no, it's sitting right there next to it. So let's drop her down. Alright, let's get it hooked up. Still have to access two of these little spots, two of these bolts for the motor mount. So see if I can figure that out. Alright, best way I can get to that is from the passenger side wheel well, or driver's side wheel well. I'll do that real quick. Alright, I got the motor mounts loose. Now, I almost think I should pull the hood off. Probably. I'll try to jack the frame up. I'll jack the body up a little bit. Alright, let's try to jack the body up some. Didn't really get much out of it. I'll have to pull the hood off. I forget if I did that last time or not, but I guess I probably did. Alright, here's what we got here. I mean, this probably was a little more labor intensive, or less labor intensive, but it was just more of a pain in the ass. I had to get a lot of wires cut out of the way, and probably would have been cleaner if I had done it the right way. Doesn't matter though, it's done and we'll lift her out. I just hope we get enough height. So now I'm using my phone right now. I'm gonna lower this thing back down and then I'll put it out the door. And that's it. Motor's out. I cut the harness all up because I don't want it or need it. I ended up buying the harnesses because they're just way. Thanks for checking out this episode of Holloway's Garage. We got the motor transfer case out of that truck. I pulled the Hydro Boost out, and then the next day a guy came and bought it for $1,000. So it worked out pretty good. I took the wheels and tires off. I got a new set of wheels and tires for my my Duramax. They're the 16s. They're in great shape. They're like the original 16s from a GMT 800, and then the tires though, they're getting ready to go. So these things are like brand new. I'm just gonna swap them out. But we got everything else off of there, which is nice. Now I don't know when I'm gonna get to it, but we'll use this in a project for my K5 Blazer. I'll probably just throw this whole drivetrain in there. I'll drop I will pull the transmission on it, probably send it out to get rebuilt or something because the guy said it slipped a little bit, and we'll go from there. But basically we're done with that truck. It's on its way. Someone else is going to use it for what they need it for. They're going to use it. He's going to use the whole frame and swap a whole truck onto that frame. I guess the frame was rotten on the other truck, but everything else was good on it. So at least he got to get used somewhere else and kind of get recycled, which is nice. I hate just throwing stuff away or scrapping it. And that's it really. Done with this. I got a cat skid steer I bought recently, just cheapest thing I've seen ever on Facebook Marketplace for a skid steer. And I have another video. I'll put a link up here or something for you. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, it didn't run. I brought a key down there. The guy didn't have a key for it. I brought a key down there to try to get it to start up, get it on my trailer, and that was a fiasco. It was like a 5-hour ordeal. But I was able to get a tow truck to yank it up my trailer for me because my winch wouldn't even pull it. This thing was just dead in the water. So I'll put a link for that if you're interested in it. And then I got some progress done on my C10 with the same motor, the LQ4 sloppy stage 3 cam and MV4500 5-speed I put in there. That thing is up and running and driving, so if you want to see a video on that, I'll put another link somewhere for that. I'll slowly be cranking out these videos and hopefully you like what you see, and if you do, just hit that thumbs up and maybe subscribe for me. I'd appreciate it. Trying to get up, so I have almost 700 subscribers now. If I can reach, if I could hit like 1,000, then I can get monetized, I guess, which isn't really I'm not gonna make any money from it, but at least I could take any little bit of money I get and I can invest in like a new camera or a new microphone, which this camera microphone is pretty much shot. I'm using my phone right now, which is probably the best thing I have. We'll go from there. But please hit that like button, that subscribe button. If you have any comments, just shoot them in there. And I hope you like what you saw. Thanks for checking it out.